action. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I've kind of changed up my filming setup because before it was just literally my entire living space, and I think that you guys deserve like some flowers. Thank you, Hayat, for giving me these flowers. And I was thinking about putting some candles on, but my head is just too big and it covers pretty much the entire area, so yeah, we have to just do with the flowers. Yeah. So I wanted to do a video for you guys just to focus on what it takes to get into PWP world, and also just to give you some insight onto what kinds of things you can research as a basic, because I get a lot of people that come to me for psychology support, which is fantastic and I love it. I love doing what I do, but it's really difficult to spend your time efficiently when you could do a lot of the sort of basic stuff on your own. It's just that you can make so much better use of your time by researching these things, and they'll stick with you a lot more rather than me kind of just having to go through it and having a whole hour going through something when we can use that time talking about in-depth stuff that's going to help you like within an interview or within your application, or different kinds of like role plays and things like that. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that I wanted to really touch upon today. As many of you might know, I offer PWP support, and I usually talk about it on my Instagram, which I will link below. And the reason why I offer this support is because when I was starting out in psychology, I did not have any kind of guidance. I went to see a careers advisor, and they gave me really generic general information about psychology. They didn't tell me anything about IAP services or about research assistant roles, or even kind of roles that I could just start getting experience in. They were literally, all they were telling me about was a clinical doctorate, and I was just like, bro, another 4 years of studying? No. So nobody really tells you when you start a psychology degree that it's a little bit like a medical degree where you have to do so many years of training before you actually become a psychologist. Like, you can't actually become a psychologist after an undergraduate degree, which it's bizarre how so many people still don't know. So it's such a competitive field, so it's a bit like once you've got the degree, it's like, well, now I'm in it, I might as well stick in it. And so, you know, like everybody gets really competitive about what they want to do next, and it's always kind of like a rush to do stuff, and it's like, what's the rush? Like, just chill, like enjoy yourself. Like, your 20s are your crucial years and you really want to enjoy them and not rush towards whatever the rush is. Like, just take it easy. And I think that's the kind of message that I just want to put out there as well with my PWP support, that just take a chill pill, you know? It's okay not to rush things. Also, you can't really rush things because 7 years is a long time, obviously, to spend time doing, you know, undergrad, masters, PhD. It's a long time. So I'm going to keep this video really brief because I don't really want to waffle on too much, and I want you to get quality over quantity. I want you to really think about doing your basics. So I want you to research the kind of role that you want to get into. So for example, a lot of the support that I offer is predominantly for PWP support, which is a psychological wellbeing practitioner, which works in IAP service, which stands for improving access to psychological therapies. So for example, if you were going to do a bit of research on that, you want to find out what the role entails. So you want to read upon person specifications and job descriptions for that role that you want support for, whether it's PWP or not. If it is PWP related, it would be helpful for you to watch my 2 other videos, which is what is it like being a trainee PWP, and also what is a PWP, what is a psychological wellbeing practitioner. The what is a psychological wellbeing practitioner video will help you to gain insight on the step care model, where IAPT came from, how long it's been going on for, where we sit in the step care model, and just giving you an understanding of how it works in terms of level of care and the kinds of patients that you are likely to see. In terms of the trainee video, that will give you insight whether you are able to undertake that study, because it is such an intense course. It will give you some insight whether you're able to have that kind of work or life balance within the year period that you have to do it. Some people have to wait until their circumstances change, or until they're able to make arrangements for like childcare or whatever it is that they've got going on in their life. So before you get into something that's going to be quite demanding of your time and your energy, you really want to pay attention to that video, because that will help you to understand exactly what their training will entail. The other kind of roles that you might be interested in, for example, assistant psychologist roles, trainee mental health practitioner roles, children's and young persons roles, let me think, research assistant roles, support worker roles, healthcare worker roles, even like assistant PWP roles, whatever other kind of psychology role you are interested in, I would say that please read up on, again, the job description and the person specification. So have a really good outline of what that job actually requires from you as a person with certain qualifications or skills, but also what that job is going to be asking of you. Now, the reason why it's really important for you to do that is because you really need to know if your skills match up to that. And if they don't completely match up to that, it's about articulating the skills that you do have that might kind of match them in some way. And when you obviously have that conversation with me for that support, that psychological support, we will be able to talk about, okay, well, how could you articulate that in an answer when they ask you a certain question, like what skills do you have for this role? So it's really important that you do this kind of research, because it's only going to benefit you. It might even be that research is actually enough for you to do and that you don't even need support from me. It might be that it hits like lots of light bulbs where you think, actually this makes sense, I could say this, I could say that. So it's really important that you do the research. If you are stuck or if you need additional support, then you can definitely just come to me for support and we can talk about how I might be able to help you with that. But yeah, those are the basics of what you can start off with. The next thing that is really important that you could do in terms of research is really identifying the company that you're interviewing for or looking to interview for. Now, there's lots of different psychological therapy centres and institutions, hospitals, different kinds of mental health units. So it's important to research on their values, on what the company actually stands for in terms about what their initiative is, if they have one, the kinds of therapies that they might offer. So is it groups, one-to-one, face-to-face, telephone, that sort of thing. So then you're really identifying, again, if you've got the experience to be able to do these things. It's also important to research these things because when you're in an interview, you really want to be able to be personable and relatable to the interview panel. You want to give them a sense of yourself that they will remember, not just in terms of a professional and formal perspective, but also in a sense where they really understand your personality. All kind of links on to the future. Hopefully when you get the job, that that they really see a sense of passion and awareness for their company and gives them more of a reason to employ you. And so that's the kind of thing that you really want to research on, is the company itself, the values and the kinds of things that might interest you about the company that you can ask about. But then also if they ask you something about that, then you can be very quick to answer those things. Next thing that you want to research is your interview panel. So you really want to think about who's interviewing you and the position that they're in. Because again, that will help you to understand how you might be able to relate to that person and the kinds of questions that you might be able to ask. That's really important because it gives you some understanding of the kinds of people that you will be working with, and I guess the kind of level of standard that they're expecting from you or that they have actually worked in. And so again, that gives you an idea of how high you need to raise the bar in terms of the research you need to do. Now, a lot of what I'm telling you right now isn't to give you anxiety, it isn't to put you in a panic, and it really isn't to overwhelm you. It's really just to give you an advantage to doing the best that you can possibly do for that interview. Because if you go in completely blind, they're gonna see right through you. Because if they're interviewing like 30 people over like a series of 3 days, they're gonna be able to pick up on genuine answers and sort of people who are being pretentious very quickly. So it's just really important that you try to make the best of the situation that you're in and the opportunities that you're given, and do as much research as possible. The next thing that's really helpful for you to do before you come for PWP support is to identify really clearly what kind of support it is that you want. So is it that you want to go over interview questions? Is it that you want a mock interview? Is it that you want role play? Is it that you've got a personal statement that needs going over? Is it that you want your CV to be proofread? So these are the kinds of things that you can get from the support that I offer. However, it is again really important that you have a really clear and succinct idea of the support that you need. If that's writing down your areas of improvement, what you want to work on, that sort of thing. If it's got to do with confidence, if it's got to do with not being able to remember things in interviews, your mind going blank, experiencing anxiety, wanting to be able to articulate yourself in a shorter and succinct way. Again, it's really important that you have a list of things that you want to work on, because that will give me a really clear idea of the kind of time that we might need to be able to go over these things, but also give you a really realistic perspective of actually how much you can do before your interview date, So then you're again not overwhelming yourself, and we're kind of prioritizing the areas in which you can work on to be able to get the best out of that interview experience that you have. I guess that brings me to the end of this video. I hope that this video has been helpful to help you understand the kinds of things that you can do for yourself before an interview, even if you don't want to get support from me. But if you do, then I'll leave my details in the description box below. For those of you that have interviews coming up, good luck. I hope that you are successful and that you get the positions that you're applying for. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video wherever you can for anyone that might benefit from it. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.